Welcome back. If you love to fish, you're probably hoping the fish are biting on Minnesota lakes right now. And if you love clean water, that same hope applies to a local water treatment plant. The Elk River Water Treatment Plant is counting on sunfish to take a bite out of its midge fly problem. Jessica Hart is here with how the new approach just might work.
At the Elk River Wastewater Treatment Facility,
we're going to do everything that we can to keep it as clean and as sanitary as possible.
An idea is never wasted.
We call him Biggie because he's the largest of the sunfish that we have.
Sunfish, native to Minnesota, and a possible solution to a flying problem.
We're just in the beginning stages of testing that and seeing how effective it might be.
Justin Femright is the director of Elk River's Public Works. It's too dark to see, but around 300 sunfish are living in one of their water clarifiers. He says bugs inside these water basins eat human waste and become waste when they die. Waste that sinks to the bottom of these clarifiers.
There's millions of these midge fly larvae that grow out of our final clarifiers.
Larvae born out of an accumulation of dead bugs, eventually turning into midge flies.
And you could just see the kind of build up over the course of a few days. They're in our vehicles, they're in our equipment, they're in our air handling system.
Femright says they live for 24 hours but lay thousands of eggs. So his team researched natural ways to reduce their numbers and swam across sunfish.
Their main diet is larvae. Drop a few in here and you can see how quickly he comes up.
An innovative idea to solve a flying problem.
I'm hoping to create better working conditions for our guys and credit them for coming up with solutions to help themselves.
In Elk River, Jessica Hart, KARE 11 News.
It's been 10 years since we first shared the story of a young man dealt a bad-handed birth who has truly made the best of his life. We are happy to report that Tony Armstrong is making the best even better. We'll share his update in a moment, but first, Boyd Hoopert reintroduces us to Rockin' Tony.
Our story begins with a roll.
Good morning. Welcome to the Salvation Army.
Roll and roll.
Do you remember well? Wow!
And rock.
La, 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 la.
Despite appearances, no one has spiked the Geritol.
Rockin' Tony! Stop on my blues, ain't you?
It's just Tony Armstrong
Wow!
at Maplewoods Salvation Army.
Well, where home could my baby be?
Once a week, people living with brain injuries, strokes, and Alzheimer's get Tony.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Because Tony gets them.
I really didn't know if he would live or die. It was really that bad.
Me, oh Lord, won't you leave me?
Tony was born with severe neurological problems. His parents given little hope.
They told me that he probably would never talk and never walk.
Hey, melody,
But the doctors didn't say a thing about this.
They love him.
Yeah.
Folks will look on the calendar and see which day Tony is coming and switch their days so that they can be sure to be here.
Turns out the young man dealt the worst of hands. Had one ace in the hole.
This is where it started, definitely.
For years, Tony stood on the stage at the feet of his father, who played for the 50s tribute band, the White Sidewalls.
Yep.
Brian Armstrong knows it's not easy for a son labeled special needs to watch classmates get their driver's licenses and leave for college while he stayed home.
I struggle in my life. You know, there's some days where I just wake up and I just can't take it. And, you know, I suffer from anxiety, from depression. But when I step on that stage, thank you very much. How you doing? Everything goes away. Well, the Salvation girls are really the most.
Tony's now beginning the second year of his Salvation Army and nursing home tour.
He's able to connect with everybody.
But I can't tell falling in love with you.
What we got going here is more than we could ever have dreamed of.
Daydream believer.
If ever you doubt that every person has a purpose, think of Tony.
Pretty woman, the kind of light to me.
I am extremely proud. Yeah.
Rock, the role of his life. Boyd Hubert, Carol 11 News, Maplewood.
Oh, thank you very much.
You will be happy to hear that Tony didn't stop performing after we aired his story in 2015. In fact, 10 years later, he's picked up the pace. Tony is currently doing about 20 gigs a month, mostly at adult day programs throughout the entire Twin Cities area. And in between, he picks up some nursing home gigs too. From time to time, Tony also joins 3 other people with cognitive disabilities in a band called the Positones. Now 32, Tony is still happiest when he's on a stage. Stick with us. We have more news and weather coming up after the break.